Hi, I'm Donna Wiesenhahn, Prevention Director for Bluegrass Regional Mental Health, Mental Retardation Board Incorporated. We cover the 17 counties of central Kentucky, with cities as large as Lexington and as small as Bergen and everything in between. We are guided in our work by the Strategic Prevention Framework. There are some people in our counties that feel that framework is hard to understand and just difficult and don't know exactly what to do with it. What we believe is that that framework is the structure for lots of accomplishments in your everyday life. Welcome to the process.
How many times have you done it today?
3 times? 6, I think.
Over and over and over.
How many times have you done the scientific process today?
At least twice. We woke up late this morning. I had all my kids and we were in a rush because I realized today is field trip day and I had to pack a bunch of lunches. I've packed lots of lunches in my time. So I just needed to take a good look and see what I had. And then I remembered, oh no, okay, this is gonna be harder than I thought. The youngest, she hates jelly. And the oldest, he always says he doesn't want bread. How do you make a sandwich without bread? But anyway, so I had to think fast and make a plan. I packed and labeled each lunch carefully, and so then I just sent them on their way and hoped for the best. Tonight, I'm sure they're gonna let me know how I did. So I'm thinking the next time I'll be more prepared if I just get a little more organized.
Did you do it this weekend?
Do what?
The scientific process.
Did I ever? You should have seen my closet. Took everything out and looked at it all. Then I had a friend come over. We moved some shelves around, put up some hooks so everything would fit, put everything back in place. This morning when I had to find something to wear, it was so easy I had time to take a nap before work. How about you?
I tried, but it didn't work. I've been wanting to paint the kitchen for a long time. We spent a lot of time picking out the right paint color and then realized we hadn't bought paintbrushes.
Oh, you skipped a step.
Behind closed doors, millions of Americans, young and old, are doing it every day. It's a hidden secret and a national treasure, the scientific process. You did it this morning. You know you did. If you followed the steps, you likely succeeded. But if you skipped a step, well, let's just say you might be a little off today. Let's review the 5 simple steps. Number 1, needs assessment. What is the problem? 2, capacity building. What else do we need to know? 3, planning. What are the steps that we will take? 4, implementation. How do we make this happen? 5, evaluation. Did it work? This isn't just about cleaning closets and forgetting paintbrushes. It's also about creating social change. People used to let their babies roll around inside the car like a ping pong ball. But now we have car seats, right? People used to smoke in their hospital beds. Those changes did not happen just because they are good ideas. Lots of good ideas go nowhere. Change happens when we follow the process and when we do not skip a step. We've been given exclusive behind-the-scenes access to a local community group as they set out to create change. Let's watch to see what happens.
It is our pleasure to present the Stump County Anti-Drug Coalition with this check for $100,000.
Oh, how awesome.
What will you do with the money?
We're going to keep our kids off drugs. Woo!
Well, glad to see everyone today. Today's the day we finally get to decide what we're going to do. So who wants to start?
Well, I'll start because I think it's pretty simple. I think what we need to do is just start a teen center. I mean, it says right here in our survey that the kids are bored. In fact, it said 50% of them said that they're bored. Well, how can they be bored and out there using drugs if we have them busy at the teen center playing things like air hockey and video games?
Hold on. I don't know what you all are looking at because it says right here, kids are doing drugs because their parents don't care. Look at this. 20% of high school students say that their parents wouldn't care if they were smoking marijuana. We have to get to the parents. We have to educate the parents so they'll make sure their kids aren't using drugs.
I think you're both wrong. Look at this. Kids obviously are using drugs because so many adults are using drugs. Look at how many adults were arrested this last year. Of course the kids are using. We need to crack down on the adults first.
And police officers gotta work together.
So, have we reached some decisions?
Well, I just think we have to do something. I mean, it doesn't really matter what. The kids are out there, they're drinking, they're doing drugs, and they're doing it now. So we just need to start doing something. So I guess I'll make a motion that we just start doing things.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor of doing things now?
Aye.
Excellent. This group has voted to just start doing things. Well, we just received the report giving us the data from our most recent youth survey. After all our hard work for the past 2 years, this should show some dramatic results. Let's take a minute and look at this.
Okay.
What the?
Wait a second. This can't be right. We paid for a teen room at the Y, and still they say they're bored and they don't have anything to do. Didn't they see the posters about the ping pong tables?
These numbers have to be wrong. Kids are still saying that it's easy to get pills and alcohol, even though we sent out all those letters and the pamphlets. And they still are saying that parents don't care if they smoke marijuana.
They're not drinking or smoking any less than they were 2 years ago. How's this possible? We're putting a lot of money and time into this, and they're wearing all the bracelets.
Well, I stayed up half the night and half the morning making pancakes at Project Prom. You know, I just don't believe this survey is right. I know that we've made a difference, haven't we?
Heartbreaking, isn't it? A small group of people committed to changing the world. They had funding, they had ideas, they had donuts at their meetings. They had it all, didn't they? Everything. Except the process. Now, for the first time, 5 community members from around the state are bravely stepping forward to share their very personal relationship with the process.
Well, I don't know how to really say this, but I love needs assessments. There's just something about asking all those questions and following all those paths that makes me feel like I'm a detective solving a mystery. It's just fun. Now, on the surface, all those numbers look the same, 25% of the seniors drank last month, blah, 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 blah. But if you look closer, it's like a Lifetime movie. Let me give you an example. One time our group noticed that 8th grade girls were taking more pills than any other group of students. And we thought, what is going on here? Well, we found out that there was a lot of wrong information floating around about diet pills, and those girls were taking every pill they could get their hands on, thinking it would help them lose weight. Well, once we found that out, we were able to target the students, and we targeted the parents, and we targeted the teachers, and we made a difference. Now, if we hadn't followed those clues, we would have missed an opportunity. So there you are. Now, to be honest, I have seen some bad things. One year my group totally skipped the needs assessment. They said that nothing had changed and it was a waste of time. Well, I think they just wanted to put all their money into this expensive speaker, and they didn't want any data getting in the way of their big idea. Well, needs assessment isn't about checking a box on a paper. It's about looking at the big picture and putting things together and then picking out which mystery we want to solve next year. Now, some people call them problems, and I call them mysteries. We can't fix everything, but we have a much better ability to see results if we know exactly what it is we're trying to change. Well, now, there are enough problems, mysteries, to keep us going for the next 100 years. But a good needs assessment forces us to make decisions and get moving. I'll tell you what, if you skip this step, you might as well not even bother with the rest.
I can't help it that I was born this way. I just can't stop seeing ways to build up the muscle of our group and of our town. It's like a superpower or something. When we first started out, there were just 3 ladies and me in the basement of the library trying to figure out how to stop kids from drinking and using drugs. The ladies were happy writing to Ann Landers and just talking about the problems. But I said to myself, Bob T., we need to get the police chief down here. And then we need the principal and some teachers. And the fellow who operates the skating rink where all the kids stand outside and smoke. The ladies weren't too happy with me because, well, the fellow at the skating rink isn't the most reasonable. But I figure we need to know what he's thinking. I just kept adding people who could do something, not just people who like to talk. Some people think that capacity means having more people, but that's just wrong. It doesn't mean having more opinions in the room. It means having the kind of people who are able to get things done. People who have muscle, so to speak. We've had some hard times lately. We think it's time to pass a smoking law, but the group doesn't want to invite the county attorney because he asks hard questions and that gets everybody upset. They only want to talk to people who agree with us, but to me, that's like watching an exercise video instead of actually exercising. If we're going to build up our muscles, we need to know everything we can about our issues and then get to work. Sometimes that means talking to people who don't agree with us. But if we don't do that, we might as well call it quits. Listen, big ideas about how to fix the world's problems are a dime a dozen. Don't even think about skipping this step. Trust me on this one. If you don't build up your muscles, you're going to spend the next 5 years talking and talking while everything just goes to flab.
This is really hard for me to talk about. I'm trying to come to terms with it. I'm a planner. I love planning logic models, strategic plans, goals, outcomes, objectives. I can't stop smiling. I mean, can you imagine anything better than lining up a whole mess of data, problems, and changes we want to see, and then figuring out how to make it happen? A plan takes that overwhelming glob and turns it into a map that tells us exactly how to steer for the next year. It's like having a GPS telling us what to do next. With a plan, we don't get confused when something new comes up. It either fits into the plan or it goes onto the list for next year. We don't get lost or sidetracked when we have a plan. It hasn't been easy, to tell you the truth. It can get a little lonely. The group used to change the meeting without telling me or duck under tables when they saw me coming. Planning ruined all their fun. They just wanted to go out there and do every good idea that they thought of, and they thought it would all add up to big changes. I tried and tried to tell them, but they acted like they couldn't hear me through the door. Finally, they realized they may as well be flushing time and money down the toilet, and they let me come back into the room. With a plan, it doesn't just mean making a list of who's supposed to bring what to the next health fair. It means deciding exactly what you want to do over the next few years and then figuring out how to do it. Don't be lazy and just change a couple of numbers on last year's plan. That won't get you anywhere. And please, I'm begging you, don't skip this step. Without your GPS, you won't end up where you want to go.
Yeah, I'm an implementer. I'm the one who goes out there and gets it done. You can always count on me to sign up for things. But you know what? There's a few things that I need to say to you people. Everyone always thinks, oh, that's Susie. She's got the easy job. She gets to do all the feel-good stuff after the hard work is done. Everyone seems to believe that implementing is a walk in the parade, like I'm just walking around with my hand raised, waving to the crowd and looking good. But the truth of the matter is, I am at the mercy of you. If you've done your job, yes, my job is much smoother, much easier. But if you've just tossed around some random ideas in that head of yours, do you have any idea what it's done to me? For example, do you remember that time that you went to the conference and you came back with these grandiose ideas to start a new curriculum in our school system, but no one even bothered to talk to the teachers to see if that's what they wanted, needed, or would even do? Or how about that time that you had me working on all those keg registration ordinances? Do you have any idea how many people I spoke to, media, neighborhoods, and weeks later, we find out that kegs really aren't a problem in our city? My job is to make sure your programs are implemented flawlessly so you get the outcomes you want. Except you know what? Newsflash, people, when your programs don't match your needs, you're not going to get those desired outcomes. From now on, if you've blown steps 1, 2, or 3, please don't bother calling me. Do you have any idea how much money I've spent on antacids?
You know, I'm glad I finally have a chance to let people know who the real me is. People think I'm stuffy. I'm unapproachable. Simply because I ask questions and I love evaluations. I'm a fun-loving person. I just love evaluations. I sit on the edge of my seat wondering what the outcome is going to be. Have you ever watched a movie? Sitting on the edge of your seat, wondering what's going to happen in the end. There's nothing stuffy about that. You know, we spend all year planning things for kids in our community. I'm the person that can't wait till the end to see the data, wondering what worked, what didn't work, what is it that we need to change. You know, people think that you have to be a professional and wear a suit and this professional hat. Well, that's not who I am. Look at me, I'm wearing a pink shirt. But I love evaluations. I love knowing what happens, what worked, what didn't work. Imagine you have a workshop for parents and they don't show up. I don't just automatically assume that they didn't want to come. I go find me some parents and I ask questions. I want to know if it's a good idea. Was it a bad idea? What is it that we're doing, if it's working, that can be replicated? Imagine skipping this step. Sure, you may make some mistakes, but we may also do some things good. We want to replicate those. If you want to keep your project moving, if you want to keep excitement in your work, don't skip this step.
So, there you have it, the 5 steps of the process. Take a good look around and you'll see people who do it and people who don't. If you notice long-lasting changes happening in your community, you can pretty much bet that the process is underneath it all. Some people don't take the time to work through each step, but you do. You don't take shortcuts because you understand that change happens when real problems are unraveled using real solutions, one careful step at a time. Find the mystery, needs assessment. Build your muscle, capacity. Set a GPS, planning. Be accurate, implementation. And stay on the edge of your seat, evaluation.
I do the process.
I do the process.
You know I do the process.
I do the process. I do the process.
I do the process.
I do the process.
And I do the process.
I do the process. Find the process on Facebook. Let us know your experiences, your stories. You might